Okay, so I've selected my template. I've got the Hugh Laurie template that we've seen from lesson 1. And what I want to do is I want to change this background. I don't want my app's not going to be on Hugh Laurie. It's going to be on something completely different. Now I can change that by using the tabs here and simply changing the background to a different color. But I'm quite limited to what I can do here just using the templates. I don't like the color. That's not really the image I'm after. This is not a football app that I'm building. But what's really important is you'll see that when it does load the image, it's actually half and half. It's not quite half and half, but I've got this side that the background is opaque because obviously we've got the logo here and then we've got the buttons over the top. And this side I've got a clear view of the background. We've got to bear that in mind when we're building the background. So the first thing is I need to know the size. I've got to get the size right of the screen. So here we go. I've looked on the internet and I've found the sizes of the iPhone. Now I'm going to work with the iPhone 4 to begin with, and the key figures are that I need to know it's 960 pixels high and 640 pixels wide. Now pixel is the smallest bit that makes up all the pictures that you see on the screen. It's actually a square. So this little icon here is made with thousands of different colored squares, pixels. This screen, thousands of different colored squares, and you'll see we can see the curve of the iPhone on these pictures. They're actually made up of minute, tiny little squares. So this is key. 960 pixels high, 640 pixels wide. So what I do is I go into Xara, and here's one I made earlier, but I'm going to show you how I did that. So I'll move that away. I choose the rectangle button and I make a basic rectangle, but this isn't the size, and I can see that because the size is wrong here. I've got to change the width to 640. You'll see it says PIX, pixels, and 960 pixels high. I must press return. So press the return button, enter button, and I now have the right size. Now remember, as we said from the Hugh Laurie one, if I go back here, it's half and half. Okay, half clear or just over half clear, and then we've got this opaque side here. So we've got to remember that when we're designing our background. Now you can make this background anything you want. You can import images from the internet. Remember, don't use copyright images. That's really important. Quite like pink. And I'm just going to stick on a star like I've done with the other one. Black star, purple star. And just to show you what I mean by the opaque thing, I'm just going to make that slightly bigger than I need to. So remember, around about here I've got my buttons and logo this side, and over here I've got it nice and clear. Now I can obviously mess around in Xara. I can add text if I want to. I can bevel images, and I can do all sorts of things if I so wish. Okay, so that's something that you can play around with and have a go with. Let's just, there you go, I've made a beveled star. So this now is my background. Now you're going to have a little bit longer than me to do this. What I do now, select the arrow select tool, and I select everything on that page there. I then go up to File and I hit Export. That's really important, Export. And I'm just going to call that Star 2 and export it. Gives me options. I want to make sure it's PNG. That is portable network graphics. It's just a better quality of graphic to put in a website. And I want to make sure the color depth is true color. I'll talk about true color plus alpha later perhaps, but true color is the best color I can have. Export, and that's done. So I go back to my ibuild apps, and I'm now going to upload. And this is how I do it. I've got to do both screens. Start with the iOS 4, call it Star 2. Oh, did it not save? Let's just do that again. File, export, Star 2, export, export. Okay. On the desktop, Star 2, there it is. Open. And that's going to open that up now. Oh look, it's saying that it exported as 1 pixel extra wider and higher, and it's kindly just applied a crop. We just apply that, and you'll see the save button's still grey. So until I hit this one and do exactly the same, star 2. Now I'm just going to move that across. You'll see what I did there. I just moved it across so that I get the whole image in. It looks slightly different on a different screen, but still very good nonetheless. Apply that. Now I can save it, and you'll see there we go, it's changed. Now you'll remember I deliberately did that star bigger than I needed. So if I need to and I want to, I can go back into Xara. I can say no, that star was just a little bit too big. I can adjust that down as accordingly, and I just go and do whatever I needed to do, again export and upload it. But I'm going to keep it there because that's obviously just to demonstrate how that is done. Once I'm happy, I click continue, and I'm now looking at the buttons. Okay, now to edit these, I click the little pencil button, edit. Now when I click on these, it will tell me the size that I need, 290 by 82. That's 290 pixels wide by 82 pixels high. Now I've got, if I want, again, a template that I can, if I want to use, I can use that. Okay, I can apply rounded corners and apply if I want to. Alright, and save it. Okay, so I've changed that button, but I want to use my own. I want to make my own. We're in ICT. I want to get my levels up. I'm certainly working my way now towards level 4 if I can change this button. So what I'm going to do is edit again and remind myself of these figures: 290 pixels wide, 82 pixels high. Go back into Xara. (292) 82. I'm just going to double check that. 290 by 82. Thought I'd done that wrong. Start that again. 290, 82, click. Now if I want, I can round the corners here, curved corners, by clicking that button. Just going to delete that one. Now once I've got my button, I can do all sorts of things with it. Now what I quite like doing is cloning the rectangle. Now I'm going to go with a blue button here, and I'm just going to make that the same colour. I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to apply this button, and I'm just going to make a little V in the button. I'm going to try and drag that point to somewhere near the middle, and then bend the edges like so. Draw around it, and I'm going to combine shapes, and I'm going to slice. Let's do that again. Range, combine, slice it. So I've got two sections like this. Okay. Now it's got a black edge at the moment, but we'll just work with that for a second. The top bit I want slightly darker than the lower bit, so I'm going to apply this effect here, and I'm going to put it back together like so. Now what I can do is I can put text on it if I wanted to. About. Now you'll see that's too small, so highlight it, get the font that you want, get it in the right area that you want. I'm just going to remove the, I'm going to leave that actually, just for a second. I'm just going to leave that, but you can remove the black outline, but I'm just going to show you the basic principles here. Okay, I can, if I want, start to bevel this, make it look a little bit more professional. Don't go too mad with it, otherwise it can look a bit silly like so. Okay, that's quite cool. Draw around it, select, file, export. I'm going to call this about. Call it the same thing. True color, PNG, export. Same process. Back into Xara, upload, about. I've got rounded corners anyway, but I'm going to tick that, otherwise I get a square edge. If you didn't see that, it'll just show that little edge. So round the corners, apply, save it. Now you'll see that it's got about and about on it. So if I just go back to edit, I can actually delete the name there if I want to. I am, because I've already written about on it. So I just delete it there, and I've got my button like so. And that's not very good, but you're going to have lots of time to do this, and you can repeat this for all those buttons that you've got. Remember, you don't have to use the same name that are these just because they've got gallery. I might want a contact button, so I might put contact us on one of these instead. Right, so have a go and see how far you can get.